It was originally released in 2019, and this is directed by Rob Grant. I've had my eye on this film for quite a while, since it was released anyway, and I got an opportunity to stream it on Tubi. It is currently on there, and first time watch for me, and this is a horror thriller comedy, black comedy especially, and the humor that they put into this film is frequent and pretty much through the whole thing. And it's very bleak, very bleak humor mixed with some thriller horror vibes. They're also kind of mixed, but they're kind of sprinkled in. I think more than half of this film would definitely be considered a dark comedy on top of the horror elements. And essentially, what we have going on here, I'm not going to be deep diving into spoilers, but we have three main characters. We have a girl named Sasha and her one boyfriend and one friend. Boyfriend is named Richard, and their friend Jonah. So Jonah, Richard, and Sasha are the main leads in this film. At the beginning of the film, this film opens up with a massive misunderstanding where Richard is suspecting Jonah of cheating and basically beats the shit out of him. This isn't the case whatsoever. So it makes for a really awkward situation in which afterwards they kind of try to make amends by going on a boat trip into the ocean. And many things happen, and there's some twists and turns. Basically sort of turns into a survival element because of something that happens. And then during that, more things come up and about, and especially reveals with the characters and secrets. This film channels a lot of emotions, jealousy, rage, fear, stuff like that. And essentially they're out at sea, basically just dealing with each other. Wicked film. I ended up giving this one a 4 out of 5 stars, and this film is intense as hell. And like I said, the bleak comedy is kind of hilarious because the situations that they use to be comedic are actually really effective and normally would be gut punches, and normally you would be like in shock, and you are. A lot of things that happen throughout the film. There's good gore effects. There's violent things that happen in this film, like really violent stuff, and stuff that really puts you on edge. But it's all done in some weird darkly comedic way that you just it's ridiculous, but at the same time funny and humorous. And somehow the director and writers, I don't know if it was written by the same guy, Rob Grant, but they managed to make this film really impactful and keep your attention and paint this whole situation really, really well and really well paced. I found the pacing to be my favorite in this film. The reveals, most of them anyway, take you quite by surprise. Although the situation is a little bit predictable, all the reveals are really, really well done and really well timed. The name of the film is pretty forward. There is a harpoon in the film. Now, I'm not going to say anything more than that. This is not a slasher film, though, I will say that. So there's no slasher vibes. You're not going to get a typical slasher film. Absolutely nothing like that. It's just a survival horror comedy thriller, and pretty big on the thriller as well. The acting is great. I thought the characters were really believable. Not very likable. They definitely... They have their quirks, and they're enjoyable to watch, but you certainly aren't looking as any of them as like the heroes necessarily. I would say the female character is the least, you know, villainous. I'd say she's the most innocent out of all of them, and she's the one who's mostly kind of stuck with these two crazy fucking hotheads. Richard, the boyfriend, is the most hot-headed. He's the like confident, hot-headed rich kid who's always freaking out and starting fights and just can't keep it level-headed whatsoever. And he's that typical, you know, polo shirt wearing, golf club attending douchebag with like the blonde hair that acts like a rich kid. And then Jonah is the not-so-rich kid, and he recently lost his parents but wasn't able to inherit any of the money because of some debt situations or something. And Richard kind of uses his wealth to keep friends around, in a sense. And then Sasha is obviously not in... Well, I'm not going to go too much into spoilers, but she's with Richard, and you're kind of wondering why. And you're watching these characters interact, and you're really just kind of wondering why they're friends or how they're friends. But it's kind of realistic with a lot of people when you think about it. You look at people and you see their behaviors with one another, and you're just sitting there wondering, like, why in the hell are you friends? I'm sure we've all met people like that, but this film kind of focuses completely on these characters in kind of a small space, a boat in the middle of the ocean. So it's pretty wacky like that. And I will mention too, the ending is absolutely fantastic in giving you a gut punch, like I said, and really, really swiping the rug from under you. And I'm talking like, when I say the end, I'm talking like the last 20 seconds. It's just something happens that is just so like, whoa. And you don't know, you're kind of left with your jaw dropped because you don't know whether to go with it, not go with it, whether it's, because it's really, again, with a dark comedy, it's really focused heavy on that, and they really give you that last punch, probably the biggest punch in the end, and you're just like, how do I feel about that? At least I'm speaking for myself. Like, I'm like, how do I feel like that? Because it's so genius and how random it is, and how unexpected it is, but at the same time, it kind of leaves you like, oh man, that sucks kind of feeling. So yeah, the ending definitely takes you by surprise. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But for anybody who hasn't seen this film, it's a very hard film to talk about without, getting into too much detail will just spoil a lot of things. So I definitely suggest going in blind and just going for the crazy adventure. It's a lot of fun, and it's, like I said, really violent at times, and really, really well paced. I think this is a perfectly well paced film for the genre that it is, and it's definitely going to be entertaining for a lot of folks, especially if these kind of films, these small scale films, are your thing. I would definitely give it 2 thumbs up on this one. So subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice, or if you like my film reviews. I will be back with more soon, so stay tuned for those. Check out what's on the channel already. Stay tuned for what's coming. Until next review, have a good one, take care, and cheers.